2, 3. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. I'm your host, Peter Surs. And before we get started, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, do Peter a favor. Leave a review, rate the podcast. That'd be awesome. You can share it. That'd be cool too. You can tell your friends. You can subscribe if you want to get the notifications when this drops every week. But yeah, do that for me. Thank you very much. Today, my guest today is very happy to have this person in studio today. You know, because we're in comedy, people or of them, but you don't actually know them. And so then I finally got to meet this person, and she's delightful. She's a comedian. She's also a stripper, which you guys will learn about. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Caroline Georges. Yeah, that's right. Well, they put their hands together.
Oh, yes.
And you got coffee. Did you just wake up? Is it early for you?
Yeah, last night was the Oscars. I had to go in. I had to work.
You had to work. You're not tell jokes. Your other job, you had to dance last night.
Well, I danced last night, but at the same time, you do still have to entertain the troops. You know what I mean? So it's if you're funny, you know what I mean. That's a way of charming men into giving you money and to liking you and stuff. So it's being a performer and of any kind, you know what I mean? Even being a comedian, some strippers are some of the funniest people you'll ever meet, hands down. Some of the funniest bitches I've met in my fucking life were strippers. Yeah, for sure.
I've only met a handful. Although when I was much younger, I used to frequent strip clubs often.
Yes.
But then I actually was lucky enough to start having sex with girls, and then I didn't feel the need to go to strip clubs anymore.
Yeah, well, it's a nice way of accumulating yourself to being comfortable with women. And
I get
stuff.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're from Alaska, which is I've only met a couple people from Alaska, but you were from Juno, Alaska.
Juno, Alaska.
Yes, like the movie.
Juno.
But it's spelled different.
Juneau.
Yeah.
That's so it was named after Joe Juno, who was this French discoverer or whatever, who sailed by it once or something. But
makes sense.
Yeah. So, but Juno, the movie about that pregnant girl and stuff, didn't care for it. But I liked it more than my hometown.
It got nominated for a million awards. Everyone loved that movie.
Yeah, but everyone's surprised I didn't like that movie because of the screenwriter is a stripper.
Oh, that's right.
Was a stripper.
Diablo Cody, that's right.
You know what though? She's a faker. She only stripped for a couple months.
Oh,
you
really?
Know what I mean, yeah. She did it to
So how long does someone have to strip to not be a faker?
She was stripping to get material for a book.
Interesting.
To get, which is fine, you know what I mean? But it wasn't this is,
What was her book? She was a book about stripping?
Yeah, about her life and stuff like that.
Because she also wrote Jennifer's Body, is that correct?
Loved Jennifer's Body. That I did really.
But that's her movie, right?
Yeah, I love Jennifer's Body.
Oh, so you like that movie?
I really do. I really fuck with Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, Megan Fox used to be my number one forever.
She was everybody's number one. Yeah. She was the girl of the 2000s.
Yeah, she was an it girl for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's so great, I guess, but she just doesn't really do that much anymore.
Well, that was Jennifer's Body. I mean, it was a great role for her. You know what I mean? And she did a good job. I think she's a totally fine actress and stuff, but it's hard to be, that beautiful and be believable as the mom and stuff, whereas the college student.
They have to ugly them down, kind of like.
And you can't ugly down Megan Fox.
Well, but have you seen Scarlett? Have you seen? We're talking about movies on my podcast. Have you seen Marriage Story?
Yeah.
And Scarlett Johansson is super plain
well,
down,
she cuts her hair.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know why girls cut their hair short. It looks better long. And I remember whenever a stripper makes the mistake of cutting her hair, and it happens every once in a while, and it's just girl, what's gonna happen to you? What are you gonna do now? How are you gonna make money? How are you gonna live? And it's just and so I mean, and the stakes are much higher, with stripping, I guess, because it's just guys really like long hair. I mean, what can I say?
I do
guys
agree.
Do not like short hair.
We were watching the Oscars last night, of course, and I noticed that about Charlize, who's obviously flawless, but she's been rocking the shorter hair. I'm like,
yeah,
I like her with a little bit longer hair, but whatever. Who am I?
I mean, Charlize Theron pulls it off. I mean, her face is so pretty.
Yeah, she's flawless.
So she doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
But I just short hair.
So did you watch the Oscars last night? By the way, when you guys hear this, the Oscars will have been a week ago. Oh no, it will have been. No, I'm sorry. This is dropping tomorrow because I'm behind. So
Oh.
we're good.
No, I did not watch the Oscars. You know, I know this might sound sort of. I mean, I was really disappointed Jennifer Lopez wasn't nominated for
Are you
Hustlers.
serious?
I was disappointed.
Okay, now have you seen all the other movies though?
No.
Okay, because
But-
I have,
Really?
and like
I thought Laura Dern deserved to win for
yeah,
Marriage
she
Story.
did a
but
great like. Well, see, Laura Dern's was for supporting actress, and I
Yeah.
don't know what J Lo would have been.
She would have been supporting actress. as
like
well.
I guess because well, she was kind of like the lead though. Like
No, she
her,
wasn't. No, it was.
You think the other girl,
it was-
Constance Wu,
It
was the
yeah,
lead?
she was the lead. The story followed her.
Yeah.
J Lo came in at the beginning and came back in the middle, and yeah. So I mean, J Lo was really the. I mean, she was the star of the show, but
Right.
she was the supporting character.
Okay. I just felt like I didn't. The movie was fine, but like when everyone was like outraged, I'm like I've seen everything else, and like her performance wasn't that great compared to like all the other ones. But I mean,
Sure.
whatever. I mean, they're like the argument was like she got into such good shape, and then I'm like,
But she was already in good shape.
yeah,
No, well,
she's banging all the time.
She. I mean,
she knows how to dance.
as a dancer, she is a dancer first. She was always a
Yeah,
dancer first,
of
you know,
course.
and so she learned. You know, if you think about it, pole dancing is not easy. It's an athletic sport, and she learned how to do that
Right.
perfectly, and you know, and her that you know, and was very convincing as a stripper, and partly because she trained very hard to be good at pole dancing.
Agreed.
But at the same time, like, I don't know, everyone's kind of, is she giving back since she's now kind of familiar with that, lifestyle from researching and understanding her role, and also the woman that J-Lo's character was based off of was completely fucked over in the making of the movie. And she's suing them now for a lot of money, and I do hope she wins. I think she deserves to win.
They didn't give her consulting fees or like
they asked to use her, like her in the story, and she
because it's a book, yes.
No, it was an article in the New York Times.
Okay.
And so they asked her name's not Ramona, and I forget her name. I should probably know her name. But basically they offered her $6,000 to use her in the movie. And then she was like, $6,000. Like, you're asking a stripper fucking $6,000 to use her fucking life.
Did you see how much money I made in that movie?
I know, exactly. And so she was like, fuck no, and she was like, send me a better offer. And then they never did, and they just used her. They just used her anyway.
Got it.
And so I guess it's better to, ask forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
And so she is suing them for a lot of money, and I think she kind of deserves to win. You know what I mean? Like, that was her life. That was her life they used to make a very entertaining film that a lot of people enjoyed and made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, and then also there was things in it that were, she didn't like. And one of the things I didn't even notice when I watched it is there's a scene, you saw Hustlers, right?
Of course.
There's a scene where they mix the MDMA and Coke together and make it like a special super drug to drug the guys with. She was outraged. The dancer, that stripper that the movie was based off of, she was outraged. She was like, I would have never done that in the home where I raised my child. And she was like, and so it was like,
I'll do it, just not in the home where I raised my
know.
child.
She was
That's
like,
funny.
I would never have brought that around my kid. And so she was offended that like that was how these women were like making drugs.
I mean, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. So we were talking about this beforehand, but I thought it was interesting because you call yourself. I mean, you use the term stripper, and we were talking about this beforehand. But like,
Sure.
because I used to meet girls all the time. Like, I used to be a dancer, and so not like an exotic dancer, but like just like a dancer. Like, but I would meet girls that were dancers, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm a dancer." I'm like, "Oh, like what? Who's your agency or whatever?" And they're like, "No, like I dance at Tropical
Stars
Lay," or,
Entertainment.
like, yeah, like I dance at Deja Vu, and I'm like, "Oh, you're a stripper." And like, "No, I'm a dancer." I'm like, "Okay, well, but you say stripper," so it's just interesting to me, like the different terms that people.
I mean, let's just get to the point, because the thing is, you're gonna have to get to stripper eventually, because people are gonna, like, I say dancer, they're like, what kind of dancer? They're not, well, the naked kind, the kind that takes off their clothes,
Right.
that kind of dancer. Like, oh, you're a stripper, you know what I mean? So we always come down to the word stripper, so I might as well just
Because
not waste
exotic
time.
dancer is like, okay, like that. When you say exotic dancer, people know, like, oh yeah, like we get it. I
Yeah,
feel like you don't need to say stripper,
for
but like,
sure.
but some people prefer the term exotic dancer. So it's just curious, just intriguing.
Yeah. So I don't know, stripper. And also it's funnier. I just think stripper's a
I
funny
mean,
word.
I
You know what I mean? It's
agree,
funnier.
and I love that you talk about it on stage. But like, it's very funny how you talk about it on stage.
Yeah.
Like, because there's obviously there's a lot of people that like have been from either the adult film industry or other strippers that have done stand up or do stand up, and it's like
Uh-huh.
it's not always funny. I mean, not everyone's funny, but like I think the way that you do it, because I feel like it comes from a more honest place. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, with comedy, I mean, you have to like you're getting naked if you're a comic. If you're a good comic, you're getting up there, you're getting
Uh,
fucking naked, and you're putting it all out there. You know
uh-huh.
what I mean? And I actually, I'm like, I give comics shit when they complain about bombing. You know what I mean? It's like fuck off. Like I go on stage in a strip club, take off all my clothes for drunk guys, and I bomb. Like that's bombing. You don't know what bombing fucking is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, people didn't laugh at your jokes. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like did you have your clothes on? Fuck off. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's like I bomb all the time.
And
As a
then
stripper.
having to like
Yeah.
crawl around. I mean, essentially, I'm assuming you go completely nude, yes,
Yes, I work at a fully nude club.
and then you have to pick up money afterwards
Yes.
while you're naked.
Yes.
So that's also another level altogether of not bombing, but like just like a weird thing. Like I would feel weird being naked and picking up money off the floor.
Yeah. I could.
But like you're saying, like these people that are bombing, like they can't. It's like, dude, like look what I'm doing. I got drunk dudes on me, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I get it.
Yeah.
But you, so how? First of all, when did you start? When did you start comedy?
I started comedy like 2017,
Okay.
and then I did it for a few months. It went okay, and then I had this a boyfriend. The relationship ended in a ball of hellfire, and then I was dealing with the trauma of that,
Of course.
and it was like I after that relationship ended and the you know the the nightmare that it was, I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? This is like, oh, this is like,
Like because you were sad, or because
yeah.
this is a scary person?
No, because I was like, I was sad,
yeah.
and because he was a scary person, so it was like either or, but it was just like I literally thought I was dying.
Yeah.
Like I literally thought like it was just only a matter of time before I gave in and just like
I've been there.
yeah, and so it was I went up on stage at Flappers of all places.
The best place to talk about.
I know, and I just got on stage and I was just like I couldn't talk about jokes like like what like silly jokes about like silly things. I went up on stage and it was just like, oh my god, like my boyfriend, like like my boyfriend, like I lost my boyfriend. My boyfriend fucked me up. My boyfriend abused me. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just like, what the fuck do I do now? And it was and so and it was just like it wasn't funny. It was everyone was really upset. You know what I mean? It was just like
Were you in the Yoo-hoo room?
no.
Oh, you're in the main room.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. Because the Yoo-hoo room, like, you can be talking about anything, and like a lot of times they're just sitting there, waiting for their friend to go up or something. But if you're in the main room and talking about and getting real, like, it could be for an awkward event.
It was an awkward event, and then so after that, I was just like, okay, I cannot. Like tragedy plus time equals comedy. So I
Mhm.
just needed time,
Mhm.
and so I took that time, and then I started a podcast in the meantime, and then I ended up getting sexually assaulted by one of the comics that came on as a guest on my podcast, and that happened literally like so October was when my boyfriend, the
Uh-huh.
whole thing went down with my boyfriend. And then a year later in October, I was sexually assaulted by a fellow comic who I knew and was friends with, trusted, had no reason to think he would hurt me, had reason to hurt me and shit. And it's just like, but the thing is, the stripper thing is such a stigma. And you are sort of, I do have a target on my back that makes me like, people want to victimize me or think that they can victimize
Right.
me because of being a sex worker and how society values sex workers, and And so when the Me Too movement happened, I didn't come out about being a stripper with my comedy until the Me Too movement happened.
Oh, okay.
And so when the Me Too movement happened, I was like, they ignored strippers, they ignored porn stars, they ignored prostitutes. They didn't give a shit about sex workers. And it was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
we're the ones that are getting beaten down the most by society.
Right.
We're the ones that are getting abused the most by society. We're the ones that are getting attacked by abusive men the most in society. So why doesn't the Me Too movement care about us? You know what I mean? I mean, of course, everyone deserves to be safe. Everyone deserves justice, including gorgeous, beautiful, wealthy actresses. But you know what? Like, what about strippers? You know what I mean? And so I kind of want to show with my comedy, strippers are not stupid. Strippers are not losers. Strippers are not, you know, like worthless people. They're actually really funny. They're actually really intelligent. They actually do have shit to say. And I'm not the only one.
Right.
There's a lot of women out there working as strippers, working as porn stars, working as prostitutes who are a lot like me, who have shit to say, have thoughts and opinions, have feelings and abilities, and want to be seen and heard too. You know, and so it's like, if I could be that, you know, and show that and succeed at that, then that would be great. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm sorry that you were sexually assaulted.
You know what? Like, this guy know who he is. Who he is.
Is this person still a comic now?
Yeah. Oh, he's still working.
Oh, wow.
And you know, but it's hard because, like, well, I mean, even like, you know, Juliana, who you had on last week, like I found out she knew who he was, and you know, and that he was around her and stuff like that. So I immediately went up to her. I was like, "Do you know this guy?" She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, she was like, "He sends me weird messages all the time on Instagram."
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, Juliana's 23.
Yeah,
this guy's
she's a
35.
baby.
She's 30. Like, this guy's 35. You know what I mean? Like, why is he like sending weird messages to a 23-year-old girl?
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's a creep. He's a weirdo. And I just said, look, don't be alone with him. Don't stay away from him. Don't let him touch you. You know what I mean? And that's what I told her. And she's like, okay, I won't. You know what I mean? That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, this guy, I mean, he's going to have to walk around with that on his forehead for the rest of his life, because I'm not going to shut up about him. I'm not going to be silent about him. I have to protect women.
Right.
I have to protect female comics that are going to be around him.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, God forbid, this guy goes on tour and like fucks with women that like go to see a show or something like that. You know what I mean? There's all these things that I have to think about and worry about and stuff like that. And I can do fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I called the cops. The cops did shit.
Really?
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I had no evidence. It all happened behind closed doors.
Well, if there's like,
you know?
oh, yeah, for you mean?
Yeah. Like, I had no evidence to pin on this guy. I have no proof that this guy did what he did to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and in the vast majority of situations that women find themselves in, they don't have proof either. You know what I mean? So it's my conclusion has been rape and sexual assault and abuse is like the easiest crime someone can get away with. It's crazy. It's really easy to get away with it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And like, it seems like the only punishment we can exact on abusive people, and I'm including women too, because as a stripper, women are fucking abusive too. Women are crazy abusive. You know how many women come into strip clubs looking to abuse other women?
Oh, I saw you post about that.
Oh yeah, it's very common. Women do it all the time.
They think because they're women, they can touch you and whatever. It's like
they think because they have a vagina, they're allowed to touch another woman's vagina.
Right.
It's crazy. It's really fucking
Paul
crazy.
touches my dick all the time. It's like, Paul, stop touching my dick, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. Like, I mean, I could picture that because like, yeah, like because girls, it's like it's non-threatening. It's non-threatening if a girl does it to a guy. You know, I've heard other comics on podcasts talk about like, yeah, this girl, you know, not naming names, like, you know, touched me or did this to me, and it's like, I mean, but if a guy complains about a girl, no one's gonna take him seriously. Like what's his name? Like Johnny Depp was talking about how his girl.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah,
but
people like were quick to like jump down, like, oh, cancel Johnny Depp and this and that, and then you find out, you know, what, 2 years later or 3 years later that she was the one doing it to him, and like there's a recording of her saying so, and you're like, but then to women to do it to women is like, well, we're all supposed to have each other's back, and if a girl thinks it's okay, it's just like it's this weird like. Not even a slippery slope. It's just like there's got to be a line somewhere. I mean, people should know. Like, I would never touch anybody, period, unless they were like, "Hey, touch me." I'm like, "Okay, cool." But
yeah,
I mean, I'm different.
And well, I mean, that's a good rule to have.
That's how most people should be.
You know, like if you're gonna I mean,
Like, I've never sent a dick pic to anybody in the history of my life, ever.
oh, you should. There's nothing like it.
No, I'm not. No.
I don't. No, I've asked for dick pics. I don't know why.
I've been asked
I think
many
they're
times.
funny. I think they're funny. I think it's cute. I think it's flirting. I think it's foreplay. I think it's just.
I'm like, if you want to see my dick,
like send me a
come
picture.
over.
Like send
Nope.
me a picture of your dick.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
not.
mean?
I've
Yeah,
never.
it's
But
silly.
you know why? It's because I've always had this thing where, like, at some point, I'm gonna be like on ABC Family or Disney Channel, and then all of a sudden, here comes you're like, oh, Peter Sir sent me a dick pic, in 2014 or something. You're like, nope, I've never done it ever, and I won't either. I mean, I have a girlfriend, but like
That's
even
probably
still,
good.
like, yeah.
That's probably good. but you know.
But like we even like we have like we kind of have this relationship where we're long distance,
Sure.
half the time anyway.
Uh-huh.
And like we don't do that when we're away, like, or it's just because I don't want that video trail or that paper trail, like like everything's saved. Even if you delete it, Snapchat, like when Snapchat started, like everything is there somewhere. So like I don't want anything like that around at all, ever. But whatever. That's just me.
I don't know. I wish. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't feel like I have the luxury of boundaries or making my own choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like almost like picture nudes of me. It's just like, what do they mean anyway? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just like I don't know. Like there's this guy that I'm kind of seeing, and he's mad at me, and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna send him a bunch of nudes and see if he gets, then it's like, and he's still mad at me, and it's like, oh,
Still mad at you.
still pissed at
Oh,
me.
what a fucking.
I sent him nudes, to apologize and stuff, and he's still mad.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Was it
all
the guy
right.
that came to our show the other day? It's okay. You don't have to say. Just
Oh.
blink once. That's fine.
I know the nudes aren't doing it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Bummer.
Alright.
Okay, so when did you start dancing, first of all?
When I was 18.
When you're 18, and you are 22 now?
20. Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you. I'm 31.
So 13 years. So you're like...
On and off.
Yeah,
off.
of
So
course.
I mean, like I wouldn't say 13 years. I've had other jobs, other career paths, other things going on. So
Okay.
it's not always been like dancing consistently, but
Got
it's always supported me and helped me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always gotten me to where I needed to go. You know what I mean? So I have to kind of honor that, whatever trauma has come about from stripping and stuff.
Right.
Like, I mean, I have to, appreciate it for what it's gotten me in life,
But you started in Salt Lake, is that right? Or I heard...
I
You're talking
started in Salt Lake City,
which is the
Utah.
worst place, I feel like, to start
don't
as a
know.
dancer.
Those like suppressed Mormon guys. they're
Do they
pretty-
like let loose when they're like behind closed doors?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City is not my favorite place to go, though. I just, it's pretty, but like, yeah. So how long did you live in Salt Lake?
Like 9 months.
Okay,
10
not that
months.
long.
Yeah, not long. I had an internship up there, so
Oh,
I was doing
At the
that.
club?
No,
I'm like, they have stripper internships? That's crazy.
no. That's a stripper. You intern at strip clubs all the time because sometimes you go into the club and you don't make anything. You know
Right.
what I mean? And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
clubs don't pay hourly, so
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
There is, my buddy is the general manager of Deja Vu, one of the Deja Vus.
Okay.
And they were talking about something just changed. I don't know if it had to do with like how the girls get paid. Oh, you were telling me this about how they can't take credit cards anymore,
Yeah.
and that's like a big deal because like a lot
Right.
of people would pay.
You can't hustle.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you can't hustle.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like, I mean, you could hustle. Like, like you could try to get credit card. Like, you could try to get cash tips and stuff.
Right.
But you're just like,
Do you have an ATM in the club
we
that
have
they
an
can go? I remember.
We have an ATM.
Yeah.
Clients don't like the ATM. The credit card tips are so easy.
Yeah.
And so like getting cash tips is a lot harder. Getting
Okay.
cash tips is a lot harder. It's been a lot harder getting tips.
Yeah, because who
and
carries
stuff.
cash or that
I
much
know,
cash?
It's been a lot harder to make money.
Yeah,
It's been a
bummer.
lot harder.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I mean, it just feels like the club does everything to protect the client, does everything to protect the men that go into clubs and that sort of thing. They don't do anything to protect the women.
Yeah.
Well, it's even like I got that viral video of that stripper. That
Oh,
fell
I
off
didn't
the
even know
pole.
about it until you posted about
Oh
it.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So many people were sending it to me all day, and I was just like, holy shit! Like, and I thought it was great at first, but then I found out the girl got fucking like beat the shit out of like by falling. Like, she broke her jaw, she broke some of her teeth, like she fractured her ankle, and stuff. And it's like everyone's watching this viral video of a
So if you
stripper.
guys don't know, there's
Yeah.
a video of a girl. I guess she's pole dancing, and
She's
she
pole
falls
dancing.
really
She
hard.
falls off the pole. But what's impressive is that once she hits the ground, she just,
She keeps going.
She keeps going. She
Yeah.
keeps dancing. And, and it's like, that's a stripper for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one of the, I wasn't there for this. I'm sorry I missed it. But the Deja Vu downtown,
Uh-huh.
there was this autistic kid who was like 14, broke into the strip club, broke into the dressing room, and beat the shit out of one of the dancers.
Are you
And,
serious?
yeah, her name was LSD, and and
Great
she,
name.
yeah, I know, I thought, and she was like this goth
Now
chick.
her name's LS, like the letters, or like Alice D,
LSD,
like the letters.
yeah, LSD.
Okay.
She's like this goth chick,
Okay.
really cool, and she had like a gimmick, like a whip and that sort of
Oh,
thing,
okay.
and like she came back to the club with like all these bandages all over
Oh
her
my
nose.
God.
Same day, put on her makeup, covered up the.
You got to work, man.
Yeah, I went to
There's
work.
no benefits, right?
No.
It's not like you have like a union or something, which you should. I feel like they should have a union, yeah.
Stripper union. I mean, I
Why
don't.
not?
I just. I don't fucking know.
You could start it. You could be the one that starts it.
No, you can't. Unionizing when you're a stripper, no, because it's too easy to hire girls. If the strippers started unionizing, they would just shut down strip clubs.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
yeah.
That's so. Did this person go in specifically to target this girl, or he just wanted to break in and beat the shit out of somebody for no reason?
I don't know.
'Cause
just
he
a
was
Just a
autistic.
crazy little kid.
Oh, that's
crazy
crazy.
little kid.
Okay. Well, I don't even know how to change gears after that. There's just so much like craziness going on.
Yeah.
I know you work out. This is a podcast that's a little bit about fitness.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So, as now, how much of it is like for your job, and how much is it for your mental well-being? How much of it is just because you want to look a certain way? Like,
Oh, it's all sorry. It's all mental. Like I need exercise to feel good and stuff, and to get it's like if I should have worked out this morning. Honestly, I should have woke up earlier. I was so tired, but working out just clears your head. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's mostly mental, but also it just makes you feel good. It makes you look good. I love how I look. Like if after sometimes I do like before and afters. Like I'll go and look at myself naked in the mirror before I go on a run. And then I'll come back and do the same thing, and it's like I notice if my body looks physically better after
like
I
instantly.
run. Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's just At least maybe that's just how I feel, but like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, totally. But my girlfriend makes fun of me all the time because
Yeah.
like she's like, you're always looking at yourself, and I'm like, oh, what do you want me to do? Like, I do it for me.
Yeah.
Like I want to look a certain way.
Sure.
And so I want to reap the benefits of the work that I put in. But like, yeah,
Of
like
course.
a lot of it is for stress. A lot of it is for, just getting out aggression that way, if I take my aggression out through fitness and working out, then I won't take it out on somebody else.
Of course.
Because I get mad. Not really easily, but like in the car, like, it's like I grew up in the hood.
You did.
Yes.
Cool.
And, I mean, not cool.
No.
But I mean, it made me
good.
who I am. But
Yeah.
like the thing is like where I grew up, if you like honk at someone and like flip them off and say like "fuck you" or something, like you better be like you don't do that because it could lead to a fight.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you don't know if
Mhm.
someone has a gun, I had a knife pulled on me, gun pulled on me, like. And so here, people do it because they know there's no repercussions, and you're
Mhm.
like, no, asshole, like you were the one that was driving like an idiot, and then they
Yeah.
do, but it like, if I didn't release my energy through working out, I could potentially flip on one of those people. Is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah. So you like to run?
Yeah, I do like to run. I got into running. I was like kind of pudgy when I was 10. I kind of got a little bit of a weight problem when I was 10, 5th grade. And my mom was like really on it. She was just like, "Nah, you're not gonna be fat. That's not gonna be for you. Sorry." She was like, so she like every time I wanted to eat, she'd make me run around the block.
Really?
Yeah.
In Alaska?
Uh-huh.
Now Alaska's cold, yes.
Yeah.
I've never been, so I don't
freezing.
know. I'm
Freezing
just
cold.
assuming that it's cold.
It's freezing
all
cold.
the time.
Freezing
Like I
cold
know
all
the
the
sun
time.
comes out, but it's cold.
It's
Okay.
freezing.
So you have to go outside and run in
Yeah.
when you're 10.
Yeah.
That's not good. I mean, it's good, but it's also not good. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, kind of.
I would walk. I'd walk around the block.
But like just like that, like you're not gonna get fat, so go around. I mean, it's if you think about it, I feel like the obesity problem amongst children could easily be solved if more parents did that.
Yeah, exactly. Just like on it. Yeah. So I've always just been known. I like to eat. I love food. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And you know, some of my income, you know what I mean, is based on how I look. You know what I mean, looking good and stuff. And so I have to like take that seriously and stuff. And so it's like I don't know, like sometimes like I got really depressed and I got up to like maybe like 135 or something like that, but like it was,
And that's heavy for you.
yeah, like
Got it.
like right now I'm 125 and that's fine, you know what I mean, like I look fine, I love to be 115, but like I don't know, I smoke weed and stuff, so it's like
Yeah.
so I'm 125, but like I got up to like 135, and this like fucking college kid, like this fucking little college boy came in and started making fun of me
Wait,
and
at work?
at work. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like it was like, how much does she weigh and stuff like that. And he was sitting at the stage not tipping a fucking thing. So like I said, if you're a comic and you're bitching about bombing, that shit didn't happen to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just happening to me.
So like he was saying it loud enough so
yeah,
that
I
you could hear him,
Oh,
like on
yeah,
purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
And I wasn't even that fat either. I was just I was just a little fat. Or I don't know. Like, I don't know how. I thought I was just too depressed to care how I looked.
Right.
And so it was just, I don't know. But
That's
yeah.
not good.
No, it's not good.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I feel like I want to apologize on behalf of everybody that you guys have to go through this, but at the same time, it's like you still got to make a living,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like the reality of, and it's a job that you're good at. I'm assuming you're pretty good if you've been doing it for so long.
Oh, I'm not, honestly, I'm not terribly good. I'm not terribly good. I never learned how to pole dance that well. And, and I just kind of got good at talking to guys.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
that's part of it.
yeah, that's where that's where you make your money. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just be personable, just be friendly, just be nice, just, give a shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Or at least pretend.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways.
I remember when I was younger and I used to go to strip clubs.
Mhm.
Like that would be like there's one girl I don't remember her name. Gave her a bunch of money, or
Uh-huh.
what was a lot of money for me back
Mhm.
then. It was still a lot of money, but
Yeah.
but then I remember we had this conversation, just like like I thought she liked me, of course, and
Uh-huh.
and then I remember I saw her randomly like at the mall, and I was like, oh, but I didn't remember like her actual her name, and I was like, oh hey, and like she didn't even it didn't, and I was just so like brokenhearted, and I was like, oh, these girls are all liars. I was just upset and I was sad, but it's fine now. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
She didn't remember me, that's all.
Well, I remember this one time this guy came in, and when guys come in with like tattoos or something like that, they have a lot of tattoos, I'll just be like, ooh, your tattoos. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, what does this mean? Where
Uh-huh.
did you get this one? You know what I mean? Like, and like, it's a good way of getting to know them. You know what I mean? It's a good way of
course.
like showing interest in them and that sort of thing. And then so like that was one day, and then the guy came back to see me like the next day or the day after that.
Uh-huh.
Came in, he was like, hey, and I was like, hi, like, do you want to get a dance? He was like, don't you remember me? And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? And it was just like, I don't remember you, like
Okay.
I don't.
So don't take it personal when the dancer doesn't remember you by face.
Yeah,
How you meet.
I mean, exactly. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I mean, a client's a client. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I mean,
It's nothing personal.
yeah, like I just, it's a job.
Like you
know
meet
what
dozens
I mean?
of guys every night, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If not more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a job. It's a service. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Like, it's so weird to me that guys actually expect you to sell love to them, like real love to them. It's so weird to me that guys actually like really, when they give you that money, they really are expecting real love
Of
back
course.
from you. You know what I mean? And it's like, And it's just, that's so crazy to me. It's so fucking crazy to me.
There's a difference between like when guys go to the strip club and experience that versus like when girls go to like see male dancers, and it's like for the most part
Totally different things.
yeah
Totally different
yeah
things.
like for the
Totally.
males it's just like it's like a show,
Yeah.
you know, like it's an entertainment.
Totally different things.
Whereas dudes is like, yeah, like I'm gonna marry this chick or whatever. Like I mean, couple. No, actually, I'm not even gonna say that on this. But
What?
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay. Alright, that's good.
I'll tell you afterwards. So cool. So have you done the road at all, comedy wise?
Gone to San Diego once for
Okay.
the comedy store, La Jolla Comedy Store.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my only time.
You
on
did,
the
you
road.
did that with Zach, right? My buddy Zach Miller,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. He's cool.
Yeah.
He used to, you know Zach Paul? You know Zach, right? He used to run shows he used to book. He was the booker for the Comedy Palace down there
Oh,
in
nice.
San Diego for
Okay.
like years, and he just walked away from it like last
Sure.
year. But like he used to run shows and when I'm talking like I was like brand new, probably didn't deserve to be on like certain shows, but like you know I would ask him and he would put me on stuff. So like I owe a lot to Zach. He would put me up a lot
That's
when I
nice.
was
That's nice.
when I was early in my comedy
Yeah.
career, and we're like only like a day apart. His birthday's the day after mine, so we're the exact same age minus 1 day I'm older than him.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
important.
I mean, you know, it's like there's a connection there.
Yeah.
We're both Geminis. We're both, you know, he put me up a bunch. And he put my godson up a lot when he was younger too. I have a godson that does comedy.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
How old is he?
He's 18.
You don't look
Now-
you don't look old enough to have an 18-year-old godson. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm Mexican. I could be 20 and have an 18-year-old godson.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
I mean,
All right.
right?
All right. I learned something.
But yeah, so my cousin, who is 2 years older than me,
Uh-huh.
his son, that's my godson. But
Yeah.
he started doing comedy when he was like 11.
Uh-huh.
Did it for a couple years and then got, you know, just decided to be a kid. And now he's like an adult, 18. Now he's like back doing comedy again. So, you know,
That's good. That's awesome.
yeah.
Good
I'd like
for
to
him.
take him on the road at some point, but you know, people have to have. It's hard to like get people to go on the road for like not a lot of money because road comedy does not entail a lot of money a lot, and a lot of people need to stay at their real jobs so they can make actual money and not like
Yeah.
and not like peanuts. So you're like, okay, well I can pay you this and that's about it, and they're like, I'll stay here.
Sure.
It's interesting. The road's tough, man.
I want to go on the road.
It's just different.
Yeah, I love hotel rooms.
Really?
Maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm a stripper. Like, I love hotel rooms.
I love hotel rooms too. I
But-
love staying in a hotel, and if I'm lucky enough to get 2 beds, my girlfriend hates that I do this, but I'll jump from bed to bed because you never get too old to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's 2 beds in the hotel room, and you get on one bed, and you jump from one bed to the other bed, and it's just fun. And you like, and my girlfriend hates it. She's like, "There's people underneath us." I'm like, "I don't care. Like, what are they gonna do? Kick us out of the hotel for jumping on the bed?" Like, no. Like, they have other problems to worry. And it's not like I'm doing it I do it for like 2 minutes, and it's like that's it. It's so fun for me. But like, cause when I was growing up, we didn't go on a lot of trips. You know, we didn't stay in a lot of hotels growing up.
Yeah.
We never went on like quote unquote vacations as a family. So it wasn't until, and that's one of the things I love about comedy is like, as I've gotten older and gotten to do, like I get to see all these places that like as a kid I grew up like wanting to go to, you know? And it's like cool because I'm like, oh, like in a perfect world, like you grow up and you're like, oh, I'm going to see all these things. And, you know, a lot of kids that grow up in the hood, they don't get to see those things, but like I'm getting to see those things, and it's just like always a cool experience for me. So.
Sure. Yeah.
But
That's
you don't,
awesome.
just an FYI, you don't always get hotel rooms on the road, so
What?
you don't always get hotels on the road.
Where do you sleep?
Sometimes in your car, sometimes at somebody's house, sometimes like, I mean, it really just depends on the job, but like there are some, we talked about it on here, but like some comedy clubs have like a condo, you
Oh,
know,
okay. Yeah.
that like,
I've
you
heard
know,
of that.
as everybody comes in, everybody comes in, like La Jolla has one. And, you know, they stay there for the weekend. That's your home for the weekend. Some places do have a hotel, and the other places are like, well, here's your fee, and the rest is up to you, man. And you're just like, okay. Like, you can talk a lot of comics that sleep in their car, or you do Airbnb, or you just figure out the cheapest way to stay somewhere. A lot of people do couch surfing, which I can't do that. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm too old for couch surfing.
Couch surfing. Oh, I did that. I was a true bohemian in Los Angeles for a while before I got my apartment. I just lived wherever I could live.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, it's a reality, man. I mean,
yeah.
there's lots of homeless people here. There's just, in LA is like ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And depending on when you like, it was actually really hard for us to find the place that we live in right now. But like you just never know. Like different, like during like pilot season and stuff, it's harder to find a place. Like, and then it gets easier. Like it's just weird, man. So I get it, man. But if you like hotels, the road's great. But just know that you don't always get to stay in hotels. That's all. Just an FYI.
Okay. Cool. That's good to know.
I mean, yeah, it's just the reality, man. Have you ever slept in your car on a comedy gig, Paul? Yeah. It's the best. Like I've actually mastered. I've taken pride in this, but like over the last year or so, maybe a little bit more, in like just driving back from a job, like the night, like Saturday night at a club, you have 2 shows usually, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, 10:30, and then getting in the car after that, after I get my check, the last show, 12:30, 1 o'clock, driving home from like Phoenix, Oakland, fucking Tucson. That was the longest drive. I drove all the way home from Tucson, and I did had to stop to take like a nap. But and what was worse is I had a place to stay in Tucson. Like I got to they put us in a place, but I just couldn't wait to get the fuck out of Tucson. No offense, I hate Tucson.
Yeah, why don't you like Tucson?
Well, part of it is because I've always gone in the summertime, which is just like basically
it's like 110 degrees. Okay.
At least.
So you don't like hot weather?
That's like 110 at night.
Ooh, okay.
And so it's
There
like
you
it's
go.
it's just like there's nothing to do. Actually, I take that back. There is stuff to do. Like if you like nightlife, if you like going out downtown Tucson, right by the University of Arizona, there's like bars and clubs and restaurants, and there's like a whole nightlife thing. But I don't like doing that.
That's good.
I don't like being social. I don't like going out and socializing for fun. And
Why?
I don't know, man. Like it's I know it's because of comedy, because I used to go out all the time.
Sure.
Like I used to live.
Yeah, I know comics that are like, before I was a comic, I used to be so extroverted.
For sure.
And then I started doing comedy, and now I just need to go home and watch TV all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like, I get it. Like, I mean, being a stripper is really draining. You have to like.
I bet.
Yeah, it's really draining, and it's just like, doesn't matter how extroverted you might be naturally and stuff like that. That energy is always, if it's always being taken from you, you need to get it back somehow. You know what I mean? So I can be so reclusive. I can be very reclusive, and I actually have an issue with isolating. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I just like I could stay holed up in my apartment for weeks if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just you got Uber Eats, you got TV, like you got Netflix. I could stay in my apartment for days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's cool. And yeah. So
I do feel the need always though. Like I don't need to be social, but like I will go out and like just go for, like I walk a lot in my neighborhood because I can walk, and that helps like to like getting like the sun and whatever, and like if I can run outside, I'll run outside, and but I just don't like being social.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's good to spend time alone. You know what I mean? I try and get out. Like I go to the movies by myself a lot. Like that's like a pastime of mine. It's a hobby of mine. I love going to the movies, and it's good for me to go by myself. You know what I mean? Where I just sit alone in theater. Focus like in a dark room, not have to worry about anything, and just watch a movie.
I do all the time.
Yeah.
It's the best. But I used to work in a movie theater too.
Ooh, okay, nice.
Which was that taught me that it was okay to go by myself.
Yeah.
I think at a certain age you're like, oh, I don't want to go anywhere with myself, and then you get to a point you're like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see the Harley Quinn movie again. I saw it twice.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, the Harley
You've seen
Quinn
it twice
movie.
already? We were just talking about it beforehand.
Well, I needed to support it because apparently it's not doing well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's
apparently
odd.
It didn't. Nobody liked it or something like that. Like it got good reviews, but for some reason no one's gonna go see it.
I love her.
I know.
Go support Margot Robbie, guys. I mean, look I have a fucking Joker right here.
All right, I like Jared Leto as the Joker. I don't know what people's issue was with him. Like I mean,
I think the issue was that he wasn't in the movie long enough.
Really?
It's like they sold it like in the previews was like a lot of the previews, like, well, first of all, like one of the first teasers was him as the Joker.
Sure.
I'm really into superhero movies and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
And like the teaser was like him, like in like even just like the still from the set. They're like, oh, look at him as the Joker, and like he was in the trailers. And then you saw the movie, and it was like those were pretty much all of his scenes were the ones that were in the trailer. Like, wait, this movie's not about the Joker at all. Like, this is about all these other people. And so I think that was the thing. And then and then after that, they decided to do a Joker movie without even having him. Was like, wait, what? So and then he got mad, and now he's doing a Marvel movie, and that's just like, well, fucking now what? The whole universe.
Jared Leto's doing a Marvel movie?
Yeah.
What?
He's playing Morbius, who is a vampire. So just act normal. Just act like Paul's not even there. Okay. So Morbius is like a human that he's got like some kind of like a blood disease, but he's like, I think, do you know this origin story, Paul? He's like a scientist, right? And he's playing around with how to cure his like some kind whatever blood disease he has, and in the process he turns himself into a vampire, and then he becomes like a superhero that's like half human, half vampire.
Oh, nice. The movie based on my life.
Do you like vampires? Because I love them.
Sometimes I feel like one, because it's just like I'm always like just like the daylight, like you know what I mean? Like I just like
you have late nights.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter and both of your jobs.
And then also living in Juno, Alaska.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, we talked about that. I was like 28 Days and Nights, like one of my favorite movies.
I know, it's a good one. They really put Alaska on the map.
It really did.
Yeah.
Have you seen that 28 Days of Night with Josh Hartnett? Josh Hartnett. It's about vampires and on this town that descend on this town because every year at this one time they get 28 Days of Night. And
well, I think there was a little bit of controversy when that movie came out because Alaskans noticed an issue with whitewashing. You know, I think before it became like before it became
That's
a hot
Hollywood.
topic.
But
that movie, like everyone was like, because that took place in Tok, Alaska, correct? Tok?
I don't remember the city, but yeah.
I think it was Tok. So Tok is like 500 people in it.
Uh-huh.
They're all Native Alaskans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not like
they're
one white
brown.
person.
They're brown.
Yeah.
Or like Asian brown, right?
They're Native American.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Native American.
Yeah. Native American.
Not Asian.
Not Asian. But like, I mean, but like the origin of Native Americans is people that came over from Asia and then migrated across. And so some of them are of like, if you go down the line, there's like, yeah, like they weren't just here, like they came across.
Oh, okay.
Because Alaska used to connect to Russia.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah, Alaska used to connect with Russia.
I mean, the whole world connected at some point, but
that's true.
Pangea, shout out, great name.
Pangea?
That's the name of when all of the continents were together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting, Pangea.
I don't know that many things. I know like 4. That's one of them.
Cool.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. That yeah, like they didn't have. It was all white people that lived in the town. You were like, no, there should be some other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood does that.
I know. Like Hollywood really likes white people for some reason.
They really do, and they're trying to change it. Which, if you guys watch the Oscars, like the opening number was like Janelle Monáe and Billy. Oh God, what's his name? Billy Porter. Billy Porter.
Oh, okay.
Billy
Ray Cyrus.
Janelle Monáe and Billy Ray Cyrus
Woo!
Collaborating.
Okay. Billy Ray Cyrus.
But it was just like super like they were like, hey, we're not racist. Look, we got a big opener, and it was like, well, yeah, you guys are still like a little, but it was. I appreciated the gesture, and then, they didn't have a host, which was another like. Oh. Did you watch the Oscars, Paul? Yeah. I always watch. I love award shows.
I love how they were like, we don't know what to do with this, so we're just not going to have hosts anymore.
Stupid. But they have Chris Rock and Steve Martin did like a little thing together, and it was hilarious. And you're like, this is what we need. Like, and then Will Ferrell came out with what's her name, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and then Kristen Wiig and Maya. Like, there was all these little things where it's like there could have been so much potential if you just let comics do it and just stop being like such sticks in. Because the Oscars of all the award shows is the most boring one. So like you need
Why?
Part of it is because it's a lot of awards that the general population doesn't care about. Like no one cares about best editing in an animated short film.
Oh, I care about best editing.
You do not.
I have a film degree.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a little. I'm not just a stripper. I also had hopes and dreams once.
Yeah.
And
we still have them.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope
But
you have them
of
still.
course I do. Yeah, no, I have a film degree, and editing is really fascinating, and it's, and everyone. I watched The Joker finally, and I didn't like it,
It's
and I thought that Joaquin Phoenix's performance was a little overrated because that movie was really over edited. I don't know if anybody noticed that. That movie was like they edited it like it was like a Jason Bourne action movie. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it was just
I
like,
don't know. See, I don't notice editing, but that's
well,
what I'm saying though, because you have a film degree, so you care about it. But like the
well,
general population of people, like not associated with film or the industry, they're like, we don't care
the
about.
thing is, if you notice how long each shot of him that's on him and how much they edit it and how like how they use the pacing, you know what I mean? Because it's like percussion, editing is like the
Of course.
percussion of the film,
Yeah.
and so when you notice the shots are all of him are all really short, you know what I mean? So he really like, and then they have a lot of, so it's like a two-person scene where they'll have like 6 or 7, even 8 different, shots
Cuts.
and
Yeah.
angles and cuts and that sort of thing. And that adds so much to the performance and it gives such an effect to the performance that you really can. I mean, like, and whenever like they put out a movie and maybe the actor phones it in, they just find a really, really good editor that really knows how to find each and every good moment in every scene and puts it together and that sort of thing. So, I mean, I'm sure Joaquin Phoenix really worked hard and shit and he lost weight and whatever, but like at the same time, like, is this performance really that impressive if they edited the movie as much as they did? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's something to think about.
What if it would have been better? Oh. And then the editing just fucked it up.
I would have just loved there would have been one shot of him in character performing as the Joker that lasted longer than a few seconds. Okay. You know what I mean? Because then you could really see was he that dedicated to the character.
Maybe we'll have to check out the director's cut.
I don't.
That's usually what they do, right? In the director's cut, it's like that's where they like.
You know what? No thanks. But yeah, I didn't want to see the Joker. I thought it looked dumb. I thought it looked dumb. I thought that I don't know. I thought that it became the best movie ever made the same way Trump became president. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just like the people that hate art nowadays are like these far left social justice warriors, right? So it's like they like got these people to get upset about it, to boo-hoo it. You know what I mean? When the movie was all about kill the rich, like, you know what I mean? It's like it's a total like.
It's also about like, I mean, it's also like a focus on like mental health, and that was like the whole thing. It was like he was somebody that had mental illness that was getting ignored, and this is what happens. And like, so
I don't know.
I got that part of it.
I thought it was weird that he was. I never thought of the Joker as somebody that knew he was crazy. I thought he was the one that knew. He thought he was. You know what I mean? So when he's like, I'm mentally ill, you know what I mean? Like he was self-aware enough to know that he was mentally ill. I don't know. Like that was.
It was a different take.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly.
And I think that's what they like. Supposedly, I don't know if you can concur, Paul, but like DC Comics.
Because what was good about Heath Ledger's Joker was that he seemed self-aware about all of his choices.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And knew why he was doing what he was doing, and was okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to the Joker, who just sort of started, going off the rails and that sort of thing, and all of a sudden he got this huge following of people and supporters and stuff. And so I don't know. It's a comic book character. I don't know.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love all of them. I love all the superhero movies and TV shows. But I know that they were trying to do like a specific like genre of like DC films that didn't necessarily stick to like the main, like all the superheroes like Marvel, DC. They all have like kind of like storylines where like all the comic books are like there's some continuity. But they wanted to do the Joker and start doing other ones that were like just like kind of a different, like not necessarily associated with all of those. So they were supposed to do like little, origin story, maybe one for there's another bad guy like the Penguin they were going to do one for, and like kind of do like these offs that don't necessarily tie into the main story, but just a different take on it. But I don't know. That's all I know. I never read comic books as a kid. I just like the movies and the TV shows.
I read the Archie. I loved the.
Do you watch
Archie comic.
Riverdale?
No.
That's that's one of my favorite shows.
Really?
One of my favorite things to do is eat an edible, wait for it to kick in, and then watch Riverdale, and it's hilarious
Okay.
because it's so like mellow, like so overly dramatic, and
yeah, I
like-
loved that. I'm a weirdo monologue. You were like Jughead. What was that like? Where Jughead's like, I'm a weirdo. I'm a freak.
Yeah.
Nobody likes me. It's just like it's so.
well,
like,
his whole he narrates most of the show.
Really?
Like like he's like the main narrator
Oh,
because he's
okay.
like always writing in the show.
Oh, okay.
But like it'll be like I don't know if it's because I'm stoned or because just I watch so many things, but like it's almost like I can predict what they're gonna say next, and then they'll say it. I'm like I didn't see that coming, but like I'll know that that's the next line, and then they'll say it, and I'm like I fucking knew it, dude. Like it's so predictable, but like I still love it. And my girlfriend's like, why do you watch the show? I'm like I don't know, I just can't stop watching it. So yeah. All right, Caroline. Where can people find you on social media?
Caroline_Lydia_Rose. My last name's not Rose. I have two middle names.
Okay. You have
So-
two middle names, Lydia and Rose.
Lydia Rose.
Okay.
So Caroline_Lydia_Rose
Uh huh.
at Instagram, on Instagram, and yeah.
And you're like
My Twitter is. I don't use Twitter.
you do not.
I don't know. I don't know why. Like I
I think
just,
you have one tweet, and you're like, "This is my first tweet" or something.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you all go. My first and final tweets
yeah.
for you. And so yes, but
You don't need to
you're
do-
welcome to follow me on Twitter. You won't hear much from me, but
No.
you're welcome to follow me on there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything where people can see you or like stuff that you want to promote?
I have a show on the 14th. I forget where.
Valentine's Day. Cool. Go see her wherever she is.
Okay. Yes.
And then if you want to see me, I'm going to be at this weekend. So February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, I'll be at Comedy Oakland in Oakland, and then Saturday I will be at the Laugh Cellar in Santa Rosa. And then the last weekend of this month, February 28th and 29th, I'm going to be headlining Jokesters in San Antonio.
Nice.
And I've never been, so if you guys know anything cool to do or know people in San Antonio or in the Bay Area,
Of course.
send them my way for these shows. And for the rest, go to my website, www.petersers.com. And thanks for listening, guys. This has
Thank
been
you.
The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. Thank you to Caroline for
This
coming
was
in.
so fun.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.